focus point this week was the auto sales numbers. Reema, you have been on top of that. Mixed trends coming in. Let's hear about it.
Indeed. So let's dissect the December auto sales numbers for our viewers. And a lot of interesting trends have come up. So let's start with the first one, and the prominent one is that domestic two-wheeler sales have disappointed and come under pressure. So the total sales for Bajaj fell by 1%, but domestic sales down 15%. For Hero MotoCorp, domestic sales down 22%. And for TVS Motors too, while total sales are up 7%, domestic sales were absolutely flat. So what cushioned the fall in the domestic sales numbers? Well, it's exports, and exports across the board have been very strong. For Hero MotoCorp, it's a 90% jump. TVS Motors, 22%. Bajaj Auto Management was telling us that LATAM has emerged as a very strong market. The third trend is that premiumization is indeed still very much intact. Call it the K-shaped recovery, but these are Royal Enfield's numbers. So at a time when many of the two-wheelers reported a drop in their total sales, for Royal Enfield, total sales were up 25% and domestic sales too remain resilient. Another question we're asking right now is that are we seeing any green shoots of the small car segment turning around? Remember, the small car segment has been under pressure. Month after month, when we looked at Maruti small cars, which is basically the likes of your Celerio, Desire, Ignis, Swift, Wagoner, they would report a year-on-year decline in their sales numbers. But in the month of December, Maruti small car went up by 29%. And, prior to that, in every single month, there was a drop. There you have Maruti small car growth. So are we seeing any signs of a turnaround in small cars? That said, let me caveat it that Maruti small car, in absolute terms, the volume at 62,300 is still the lowest that we've seen in 2024. Another trend that stays intact is SUVs. Now, SUV across the categories is still very strong. Tata Motors doesn't give you the SUV numbers separately, but about a 20% growth coming through for Maruti and M&M. Also, CV. Are we seeing any green shoots in CV? Now, these are Ashok Leyland's MHCV sales numbers. They were declining from July to October. In November and December, we've started seeing some growth, 8% up move. Even for Tata Motors, in Q2, sales were down 19%. In Q3, sales were on the flatter side. But Tata Motors management commentary, they said that, in CV, they're expecting stronger growth going into Q4. And finally, I'm going to leave you with how the stocks have performed in the last 1 year versus 3 years. So these are for, the passenger vehicle side, where Tata Motors was the big underperformer in 2024, absolutely flat. And even on a 3-year basis, it's M&M, which we've seen the strongest 3-year return. And similarly for two-wheelers, Bajaj Auto in pole position last year, but over a 3-year period, it's TVS Motors. Hero MotoCorp has been quite the laggard.